all bases. Attention all bases. This is
the Geek Speak Radio Show on TalkZone.com.
And we are back on the Geek Speak Radio Show on a Monday. Hello, everybody. So we're talking to Gina Huntsinger, Marketing Director at the Charles M. Schulz Museum and Research Center located here in Sonoma County. And Gina, before we go on, my co-host Romo actually had a question for you. Go ahead, Romo.
Hi, Gina. It's Romo. I just wanted to know, who's your favorite character from the whole Peanuts gang?
That is so hard because I love so many. I love Pigpen just because he's so dirty all the time. But I probably Snoopy. I mean, honestly, I probably like growing up, Snoopy was my favorite.
Oh, Snoopy was my favorite as well.
Yeah, he could just do so many cool things.
Yeah, he can, and he sure knows how to dance.
That's right. That's right. And he's always funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could be a helicopter, he was an astronaut. He's a writer. Yeah. He was everything.
Yeah, and all those themes definitely were going to be mentioned earlier. That it is loved, the comic strip, and the movies also are loved all over the world. So let's get into the museum itself, not literally, of course, but, and again, there is a link on geekspeakradioshow.com if you guys want to go and take a look. What are the museum's operating hours?
We are open, let me make it easy, 11 to 5 every day except Tuesday, but actually on the weekend we're open from 10 to 5. So it's just 10 to 5 on the weekends, and then 11 to 5 every day except for Tuesday in the winter. Of course, in the summer we're open every day.
Right. And not to give too much away, because we do want people to go and be surprised when they get there, but what can they expect? What can a visitor expect to see on a visit?
Well, the reason why they put the museum in was to show his art at its original size, because in the newspaper it's so small, but actually if you can see his original strips are quite a bit bigger, and you can see the line of his art, and his art is actually very it's beautiful, and and I think his family and friends wanted people to be able to see that. They didn't want them stuck in a closet somewhere where people couldn't really enjoy that. And they had been able to enjoy that themselves throughout the years, but people were really only getting to see them, in the newspaper or on animated specials. So we have one gallery that's always going to be his original art strips, and he drew 17,897 strips in his life, so that's a lot. So we have about 7,000 in our that we've been able to get back. So we could change those for 7 years and never duplicate anything. So we have so many of his original strips in our archives that we're very lucky. But then we also have 2 other galleries that we change all the time. We change things at least 9 times a year here at the museum. And so the main gallery right now is Peanuts Naturally, which is going and showing, kids and adults how to live in the environment in a friendly way, but with the humor of Charles Schulz, which is really funny. So, in fact, looking back in the strips, Lucy was planting a garden, and so she has them out there planting, but you know what they're planting?
What's that?
French fries. So she has Snoopy out there planting French fries. So Lucy was always confused. She thought there were 48 sons, but she was so convinced that she was right, that it's always fun to see those things. And so that one's about the environment, and actually that exhibition is going to travel through the United States for 5 years. It's going to go to all over the country, to 31 different museums and places that they'll put that in. And that's a very children-friendly one. There's lots of things. Kids can plant seeds and harvest vegetables, and they can see what their footprint is, their carbon footprint is, and so can adults. So that's a really fun exhibit right now. And then if you go upstairs, you can see Charles Schulz's studio. We actually brought the desk that he drew on for 50 years, and that is, to me, that was my favorite place when I first came here, because you can see where he spent his time creating, and there's something magical about his desk, because that's where Snoopy sprang from, and Charlie Brown, and all those ideas came in that space. So that's a great place that never changes. And then we have another area where it's his timeline about his life and who he was as an artist. Then we have another upstairs gallery that changes too. It's a lot smaller, but it always has fun things in there. about his interests or whatever, he was doing. We just change them all the time. So you never have the same experience when you come. So you can come more than once, and you'll always be entertained. We have a curatorial staff, and we actually have a committee, and they go through and go back and forth about what things they want to talk about and what things that they have in the collection, or what can they borrow that they can put up under a certain theme. The next one that we're going to have in the downstairs gallery, which is very fun, is going to be about sibling rivalry, which is about the Van Pelts let me think. What am I thinking? Van Pelts and the Browns, of course. I'm sorry, Charlie Brown. So it's going to be about how they interact with each other as siblings, which is very funny. How they dealt with each other.
Tell us about the current and upcoming exhibits to the museum.
Okay. Well, we have one right now that's Peanuts Naturally, which I talked about, which is about the environment. We have another one that just opened this week, and it's called Searching Out New Territory, Experiments in Peanuts. And this is about all the things that he tested, like the characters that failed in Peanuts, that didn't stay in the strip, the themes that he tried or the techniques he tried in the strip that he decided to pull, or some of the things that actually worked out really well. And he did that. We think that everything was the same in the strip from the beginning, but it changed like any artist. Stuff changes, and he was always trying new things because he was an artist. And this is such a fun one to come if you're really a Peanuts aficionado, because you will see so many things you may never have seen before, and it's explained, and I just really enjoy that particular exhibition. Another one that's opening up October 1st, which is this week as well, is Portraits of Schulz, and that is about different pictures that Charles Schulz, of himself, actually. But the reason why we're doing this exhibition is because the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C., is on Friday unveiling its first picture of Charles Schulz in the National Portrait Gallery. So it's very exciting to have Charles Schulz's picture there with all the other great Americans. And we are going to have a replica of the picture that has actually been donated to the National Portrait Gallery here at the museum, and it will be up through February 6th, as well as some other pictures of Charles Schulz, and actually some that he drew of himself, which are fun. And then later we have January 29th, the Browns and the Van Pelts, and that's about the siblings in Peanuts and how they dealt with each other. And then we have coming up in February, Turn Another Page, which has to do with other artistic things that Charles Schulz got involved in. He actually had manuscripts, paintings, advertising art, and some earlier one-panel cartoons that he did that were before Peanuts. So it looks at him as an artist, that particular exhibition, not just with Peanuts, but with his whole life's work.
And also, not an exhibit, but also you have what you call Museum Mondays for little ones, right? It's every Monday through next year, I believe. Yeah, tell us about that.
We have. Okay, I'll tell you about a few things that we have that are ongoing for your listeners because they're really fun. We have things for all different ages, but the littlest ones are called Museum Mondays for Little Ones, and now we're starting it every Monday through February because it's starting to get colder and rain, and parents need to take their kids somewhere. So it's from 10 to noon, and it's $5 per child, and the adults are free if they come before 11. So, in fact, we have one this morning. Got to get in the car fast, though, to get here. The other thing that we have every second Saturday of the month is we have a cartoonist come in, and you can hang out with them and watch them draw. And it's very informal, and it's very down to earth. And a lot of times you really can have a lot of time with the cartoonist, so it's a nice thing if you're interested in that type of art. And this October 9th, we have Steve Purcell, who's currently working at Pixar, and he won the 2007 Eisner for his own comic, which is called Sam and Max. So, and they come every second Saturday. We have a cartoonist here, so that's always fun. Other things that we do, like in the holidays, we'll have a gingerbread dog house workshop for kids. We have cartoon classes for for New Year's Eve, we have a toast at noon for everybody, but it's a root beer toast because Snoopy, of course, loves root beer. Right. So we have all of those things. We have classes, too, for adults. In fact, November 6th, we have a master class about animating, and it's from Bobby, let me see if I can say his name right, Postada, and he worked on Toy Story 2 and 3, and he's taking people behind the scenes of his animating work at Pixar. So that'll be very fun to attend if you're interested in that type of thing.
And also, speaking of Snoopy, you also have Snoopy the Musical coming up on Saturday, October 30th, right?
You know, the story behind that is we have some kids in our local area from Hillsburg who are doing Snoopy the Musical, and they are doing it up in Hillsburg, but we said, well, why don't you come down and do it in the theater? It would be so fun. So it's a local musical from kids in this area, and they're going to be doing it. It's October 30th, a Saturday at 2 p.m.
And is that included in the museum admission, or is that separate?
It's free. It's free when you if you come to the museum and you pay. All of the stuff that I've talked to, except for maybe the classes, are free with museum admission. And admission is $10 for adults, $5 for children. Kids under 3 are free. Seniors and kids with a school ID, they get in for $5 as well.
Yeah, we have a couple of cartoon art museums here in San Francisco, and they have some educational programs. Do you have any there at the museum?
Well, we do. I mean, as far as classes go, we do. We have in the holidays for kids, we have classes. We actually right now we're having a claymation class that's happening every Saturday for sort of high school and middle school, high school kids. And then in the holiday season, we always have cartooning classes and Lego animation classes. Those are always really popular. Our gingerbread doghouse class is very popular in the Christmas time. And then we do have some master classes for adults. We just have one this quarter, which is the one I talked about animating at Pixar. And that's on the 6th of November. But we do, and then we just let people know, as we put that together.
Do you have a newsletter, or is this all on the website?
It's all on the website. You can look at it under calendars on our homepage, and look it up. I know we always have something going on. We have a lot happening here. It's so good to be around. Yeah,
like you said, you will definitely get a different visit every time you go. It's something different, not the same thing twice. And again, the links are on geekspeakradioshow.com. Gina Huntsinger, Marketing Director for the Charles M. Schulz Museum and Research Center in Sonoma County here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thanks a lot, Gina, for spending a few minutes with us today.
Thank you so much. And can I add one thing? We have a Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. It's really fun. We put up a strip every day, and we talk about the history of it. So it's just Charles M. Schulz Museum, and if you're interested in peanuts and you want to know more, just go on. So thank you so much for having me on.
Our pleasure, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, you come back too. Come see us.
I certainly will. Thanks a lot.
Okay, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.